Chairman, we are live again.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. We are out of executive, which is for in charity today. Our next agenda item is a presentation from our veterans, LA County Veteran Service Officer. Jim, come on up to the mic. I'm trying to find your. Anyway, welcome.
Thank you. Ready to go? Okay, so it's been since August 1st when I was here previously. Since then, we had 39 new outreach visits, so that's 39 new individual visits, and 68 follow-up visits, which are phone calls, requesting documentation, anything that we need to finalize claim status or any other stuff that's going on for that veteran or spouse. I did 6 home visits and 5 hospital visits. In that paperwork, I gave you the breakdown of all the different kinds of claims and stuff that I've been working on. I won't go into all of that. We're still doing our monthly outreach meetings on the first Friday of every month from 9 to noon with the state service officer that comes up from Boise on that Friday. We're usually always full, trying to get him to open up some more hours since we seem to be busting at the seams on that Friday. The good part is with the Vetrospect that you guys have allowed me to now get into. I can get a lot of that done before we meet with the veterans so that we can shorten the amount of time that we have to meet with them during that time, which allows us to get more folks in.
And you,
In the
Yes.
packet, it's
Where the hell
the
did it
date.
go?
can you bring me up to speed of
February 6th.
what this is? Because I'm new.
What?
The
I
commission.
lost it. It's
Yeah.
just
What
like
you do?
gone.
Yes, so I work with veterans,
go.
pretty much any of the benefits that come up for a veteran, whether they just got out and they're wanting to file for disability or they're wanting to file for a veteran's pension if they don't make enough money. I can work with them to file spouse claims. So the new PACT Act just came out, which opened up the availability for spouses now for veterans who have passed away, any of the conditions that now the Vietnam era has said that are presumptive conditions, the spouses can go back. We can work with them to file claims on their spouse's behalf to see if there's benefits available to the spouse. Getting them in connection with any of the education benefits that come out, burial benefits, and then, of course, because I work up at the hospital, I'm able to work with them to get them into assisted living and getting them into, skilled nursing if they need anything, filing for the benefits for those. So pretty much anything along the line, if it's a benefit that a veteran may or may not have access to, kind of researching when were they in, what did they do while they were in service, and then what are the benefits that are available to them. And then kind of helping them get to those services.
Is this through the county is what this is?
We support, yeah.
We support this?
Support it. But Jamie works for the hospital also, but it's just been a great partnership. The
I'm a
other-
former veteran.
Okay, yeah, so it's
It
actually
interested me.
the Idaho Division of Veteran Services is who I partner with. And then, of course, with the county because you guys are making it available to us. So,
Okay. Yeah, I didn't.
Jamie, I just want to thank you personally for your work with my friend and his wife. I know they have just done
yeah.
everybody right now, so it's kind of in limbo, but I appreciate the effort and energy.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a few visits before, you become a name that they're okay with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they don't like to do anything on the phone. That's just not going to happen. So almost a personal visit or
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. But anyway, just let you know, I thank you again.
absolutely. Yeah.
Amy
Happy to
took
help.
over. When did Mike retire? A year ago?
Oh, it's over a year now.
He really improved the
Yeah, a little over a year
It
now.
was
program through just technology. Mike just loved to help work with the veterans, but he was technologically challenged, and so we're
That would be
stepping
me.
that up
Yeah.
and helping out.
Yeah, so last year I asked the commissioners to be able to pay for the same system that the Idaho Division of Veteran Services uses so that I can go in and have access to everyone's claim files now. Which definitely makes it easier in a lot of ways, because when we get a letter from the VA that a veteran needs to act on right now, or we've got 15 days to act on it, they may not go to the post office for 15 days. And so it comes into my box, and I check it weekly just to make sure to see if anything's come in. And then I can call the veteran and say, we've only got about 6 more days to act on this, or, we've got 15 days to act on this, or whatever, whenever I look at it. And that may be the difference between their claim being denied or their claim going through. So,
Sure.
yeah,
Absolutely.
so having that
Is there a
access.
renewal on that computer program? Is that,
We just did it.
you just did it? Good.
It was.
It was a thing.
Did it go up?
No, Tyler Technologies is having a little bit of
Oh,
difficulty.
Great.
Yeah. So
Not
they-
good to know.
I mean, this is
We're going to
great
them.
because there's a lot of guys out there, they wouldn't have a clue how to navigate all the stuff that has to do with veteran stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think getting the word out has been one of the bigger things that I've kind of been working on lately, because I know Mike was very active with the Cascade Legion. My husband is a member up in the McCall Legion, although they're not very active right now. They do some things, and they do have their monthly meetings. But what I run into is a lot of veterans that say, what is there to do out there for veterans? And trying to get them established, as well as trying to, and I'll talk about it here in a minute, but one of the things that Cascade Legion is really trying to work on is bringing the younger veterans in. We're just not seeing them at the Legion Hall. We're not seeing them at these activities. And some of it is lack of understanding of what they do. And some of it is, to be, very frank, it is kind of boring to sit in the meeting and hear the gavel and go through the whole process and do all of that, right? Do you really want to do that on a Wednesday night, or do you want to spend the time with your family? So, but kind of touting the benefits that come from the American Legion and or other organizations and the things to get involved, because as your older veterans aren't able to do that anymore, that next generation needs to step in to help the older generation. So it's just that transition.
You help, because I know my son's veteran from Iraq and I'm Vietnam, but some of these disabled vets, do you help them connect with the VA hospital and that kind of stuff and what's available to them?
Yep, absolutely. As well as the community care up here, letting them know that they don't have to drive down the hill. Through the community care program now, we can do everything up here, and then they just bill, the VA down there. Some things still have to go down the hill, but you can get a lot done up here or through community care that you couldn't do before. So.
Now, are you working, I mean, not only this hospital here, you're working
Oh, yeah.
McCall's hospital, all of them?
Yep. Yeah. Any veteran that comes to me that they're talking about they're having difficulty getting down the hill, or if they say they want, how do I get a ride down the hill? I say, why do you need to go down the hill? Who's your doctor?
Great.
McCall? Perfect. Let's get you signed up for community care through McCall. The social workers up at McCall also know me, and they've got my cards up there, so that that's one of the benefits being a social worker is, all the other social workers, and they're usually the folks that people come to. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome.
Jamie, are you seeing a lot more guys asking for rental assistance? I see here you have 2.
So I've had 2. I think we had 2 last time as well. Not an increase, no. What I am seeing is instead of, and it could just be that there's a lack of information out there and trying to get that word out there. What I am seeing is they're going through YCAP for the rent. They're calling YCAP, and YCAP says get in touch with Jamie. But we're catching them when it's desperate, and the VA doesn't do anything fast. And so being able to kind of get that word out and say there are funds available, whether it be going through, utilizing YCAP, or, if they're a veteran that's not making enough money, and it's not a straightforward number, we can go through and look at a veteran's pension, which increases, their monthly income, even if they don't have a VA disability. The VA has basically come out and said, there's a certain dollar amount, and it's not like a straight answer. I wish I could say, if you were under this amount, right? Where veterans, if you're living in poverty, then the pension is, put in the application, see if you qualify. We had a gentleman up in, I won't say where because that might get people to know who it is, but gentleman in the valley was only making $700. He was a rancher, farmer guy, and with Social Security, he came out right about $700 a month. Well, that's not really enough to live up here. He was making ends meet because he owned his trailer, but then the rent went up, and then we just recently got his pension back. So now he's making enough to pay the rent as well as food and be able to do that. But it's not a program that a lot of people know about. And again, it's not, we can't say if you're under this dollar amount because it really depends on which era you were in. So
Instead of going through YCAP, have you reached out to the Idaho Housing? Because they also have rental assistance.
Idaho Housing,
programs.
what I'm finding is Idaho Housing reaches out to YCAP. And so there's this connection somehow there. But no, I haven't done that. So I get quite a few calls kind of through that direction. And then also other veterans that are, that say, hey, go talk to Jamie. So the word of mouth is kind of where everything's coming from at this point. So, but I can definitely reach out to Idaho Housing.
Idaho Housing has a rental assistance program, and they have a bunch of money in it. So if if VA just doesn't move timely enough,
It's
then that might be another avenue.
not timely at all.
Well, and then please know too that if push comes to shove and you're out of time and out of options, that we still have some funds in indigent too for rental assistance.
Okay,
Yeah.
good to
And
know.
it's not a full payment. We usually kind of split the deal with whoever it is, but
Mhm.
we're kind of last resort. So keep us in mind too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Jamie, how do people find out about you?
So I attend both legions, and then I also put out a monthly Facebook. This is when we're going to be meeting. This is what we can do for you. I get that doesn't hit that older population. I guess the only other thing we could do is if we did it in the newspaper, but I'm not currently doing that right now. So
And she said word of mouth is.
Oh, word of mouth.
word of mouth is huge. Once I work with a veteran and I hear this a lot when we're kind of wrapping things up and they're like, have you talked to Bob or Joe or Jimmy or right, Janie or whatever, that's usually when I start, the first thing is she a scam? That's a big one. There's a lot of scams in this VA world, right? So once they recognize that, one, it's not a scam, or if they get a referral from a friend, then that usually it helps. So
Because the veterans they come together. I mean, the American Legions are great, and they know everybody else that are veterans usually.
right,
I mean,
yeah.
just like smokers are going to congregate together. Veterans do the same thing.
And talk, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Called mental health support.
True.
Thanks for all you do. I
absolutely.
think you've been a huge impact to this area for our veteran community.
Well, and thank you to you guys too, because this, obviously this isn't something that every county has. A lot do, but I am finding that there's a few counties that don't have this. So it's
That's sad.
great, right? Yeah, yeah. So couple things I do want to get to. Obviously, huge thank you to Beth over at YCAP. She's been great at working with to help get some of the rental assistance and just some of that additional information. I think I talked about it last time. We got a refrigerator for a gentleman whose refrigerator went out and he was just not buying anything that needed to be. He was doing all processed canned foods, and that's just bad. So they helped with that as well as the Legion. The local food banks have been just great. Whenever I have a veteran or a call from someone that says a veteran doesn't have food, I can make those deliveries. And then McPaws, I've worked with them a couple different times now just to do food donations for veterans' pets. I go to a house and the veteran talks and they say, I might have to get, could you help me get rid of my cat or my dog because I can't feed them. And so McPaws has reached out and said that they would be willing to do any food donations for veterans that we need to do. So that's been huge.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because being able to keep their animal in their home, that's,
Companion.
yes, absolutely, yeah. 3 veterans that we got into assisted living facilities. In fact, one that didn't have family in the area. I drove him down to Mountain Home myself. Kind of a nice drive. Used to live down there, so that was good.
Good for you.
Yeah,
That's really a kind of
yeah.
a God thing when you do those kind of things. You learn more than what you ever thought you would.
It's really hard to get folks into assisted living. We are definitely in a senior care crisis right now, and
Big
that's
time.
nationwide. It's taken us a long time to get people into facilities. So it's like, he was good to go to Mountain Home, and I'm like, let's go. So, because you can't take time trying to get people in. If you take too long, they will fill that slot. So,
It's all us old people help.
You put Elton and us in the same language there. What are you saying?
let's see. So, I guess one of the things that everybody kind of likes to talk about is, along with all of that other stuff, right, is what are the benefits that we're getting for the veterans up here. For the last, I guess it's been 6 months, the new monthly pension and disability amounts coming into the county, and this is the new, right, anything from the last time, is $16,370 with back payments, keeping in mind that these back payments are some of those old Agent Orange and Blue Water Navy claims that have been sitting in there just sort of spinning for a while. The new back payments of $96,307, so that is huge. We are definitely starting to see some of these Vietnam Blue Water and Agent Orange claims coming back in just huge numbers, which is great, right? It's establishing, the payments up front, as well as the benefits that they get when they get these disabilities. So working with them not only to say, how can you now smartly use that money and what are some things that you can do with that, as well as, going forward, what does this disability rate mean for you and what benefits are now open to you that a lot of our Vietnam veterans didn't have before. We got 12 signed up for community care. I think that's a little higher, but I only tracked 12, so whatever. We did have a payment reduction, which is pretty normal. That's when somebody gets a little bit better, and we had 5 claims denied for various different reasons. So definitely, I think the pensions, those are the ones that usually surprise people because they didn't even know that they were able to have any benefits. So because they didn't qualify for a disability or they didn't, whatever the case may be. If they do a disability claim and a pension claim, they get whichever one is higher, which is nice. So
They didn't even know.
what's that?
And they didn't even know.
They didn't even know. Mm-mm.
Good job.
Yep, you're doing great all the way around.
Oh, yeah.
Any other questions or anything?
No, it sounds like you're on top of everything.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very
Let us
much.
know
Okay.
if we can help.
Thank you.
Jamie.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
I'll
Thanks for coming in.
try not to call you honey again. So.
That's funny.
You should have seen her eyes. It's like,
Well, I knew there was
Things
someone,
coming to meetings.
I knew there was someone behind me. I was like, I bet.
Let me get Johanna.
now Tom Kerr would have said that.
Technically, we should probably wrap this.
Thanks, Jamie.
What are we gonna do between now and then?
We got 15 minutes.
We can't start on that one early, Doug.
Break.
I guess we'll
You getting us?
take a break and see can you go now? I'm just wondering if we can do it. We had you scheduled at 11:30.
So we could have a conversation prior to that because this is an action item on ARPA dollars.
Mhm.
And I would like to have a brief conversation before we state how much she's going to be doing. It's not on the agenda. So no decision.
We
can
have,
come from
bear with me, I apologize. So we have it on next. I don't think we have a discussion on ARPA. I thought we had it on next week's agenda. To discuss expenditure of those dollars. I think we do need to probably get that on the a future agenda.
Read.
Know what's written down here, though?
Sorry, let me.
Did it not get put in?
Not on today's. Johanna's gonna ask about investing ARPA, but I'm gonna ask to withhold a little bit.
Chairman, I would just recommend that we take a break for 15 minutes until it's the matter.
Okay, well, we're gonna shut down. We'll see everybody back here at 11:30.